In the early 1840s, the British Royal Navy began constructing what would become one of the first ever iron-hulled ships, originally named the HMS Vulcan. This ship was initially designed as a frigate, which is a type of warship that looks like traditional sailing vessels, but the plan for the ship changed before it was completed. At the time, shipbuilding was transitioning from sail power to steam engines, and the HMS Vulcan was built with large paddle wheels for propulsion. However, with the rapid changes in technology, by 1845, the Royal Navy had also tested paddle wheel ships against the newer propeller-driven ships and found that propellers were far more efficient and powerful. So as a result of these changes, the HMS Vulcan was no longer suited to be a frigate as originally planned, but rather than being scrapped, the ship was repurposed instead. There was still use for an iron-hulled paddle wheel ship, so the Royal Navy converted the Vulcan into a troop ship before its construction was completed, ensuring it would still serve a vital role in the fleet. As part of all the changes, it was also redubbed the HMS Birkenhead, named after the town in which the ship was built. When it was finally complete, the HMS Birkenhead was a state-of-the-art vessel with two 564 horsepower steam engines and a hull that was 210 feet or 64 meters long. This was 20 feet longer than any other ship in its class. The interior of the ship also had 12 watertight compartments, and the exterior included 96-pound pivot guns and four 68-pound broadside guns. Upon its completion, the ship weighed over 900 tons with an additional carrying capacity of 1,000 more for machinery and cargo. Afterward, the Birkenhead quickly gained a reputation as a heavy, robust vehicle when it was converted in 1851 and immediately proved fit for transporting the British military's most precious cargo, which were its soldiers. And despite the ship's size and weight, it was sleek and speedy in the water, as it proved a year before it was converted when it made the trip from Cape Town, South Africa to England in just 37 days. A year later, in January of 1852, the ship was under the command of Captain Robert Salmond, whose family had served in the Royal Navy since Queen Elizabeth I. On this particular sailing, it was Robert's job to deliver British, Scottish, and Irish troops to South Africa to fight in the Cape Frontier Wars, which were an intermittent conflict between the White Cape colonists and the native peoples of the Eastern Cape in South Africa. On January 5th, the ship stopped in what was then Queenstown, Ireland, to pick up more troops as well as some of the officers' wives and family members before making the long journey to Cape Town. It then docked in Simonstown, South Africa on February 23rd with some sick soldiers and most of the women and children disembarking before taking on a load of fresh water, supplies, horses, and 35 tons of coal. It was here that Robert got his next order, which was to transport troops to Algoa Bay to the east of Cape Town as quickly as possible. So at around 6 p.m. on February 25th, the Birkenhead departed Simonstown with somewhere between 630 and 643 men, women, and children aboard.